So can you see my screen?
Yes, can see it.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'll just switch over here. So today, this is what I want us to do. We'll be looking at assignment operators, comparison operators, conditionals, and for loops. So last time, Yakubu talked about data structures, which are very important. If you haven't looked at that, I advise you look at it because you continue to use it. And in fact, for most people that get into high or top jobs, there are people that really understand data structures. So when we talk about coming to what we have to do today, assignment operators, when you talk about assignment operators, you are talking about operators that are used to assign can you see my screen? No.
I can't see it.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, we're there.
Okay. So, and you can see my screen too.
Yes.
Although Hallelu is saying that, I don't know if Hallelu is she or he. Okay, so this is A being assigned, 2 being assigned to A. Now, there are times you want to do an operation over and over again. For example, if I say B is equal to 6, and then after saying B is equal to 6, maybe I want to continually add. For example, I'll say B is equal to B plus 10. Now, so I can print B. And when I print B, the value of B is 16. Now, so what's happened here? Please, if you are not speaking, kindly mute your microphone. So, what happened here is that the B that is 6, we now added 10 to it, which now made it 16. Now, so there's actually a short form of doing this. That is when you have to add the same thing over and over again. What you can do is to say, let me rewrite this as B is equal to 6. Now, I will then say B plus equal to, so plus equal to 10. And then I can print B. So when I run the code, it's 16. So you can refer to this as the long method of doing this sort of summation, while you can refer to this other one as a short form of doing this. Do you understand? Is it clear? Let me check that it's streaming on YouTube. Okay. So it's okay streaming here. So do we understand this? So again, assignment operators simply means you are assigning values to variables, as simple as that. Assignment operator assigning values to variables. So the next thing we'll look at, so this also works the same way if we are doing subtraction. So for example, we say B is equal to 6 and we say B minus 10 and we print B. This is minus 4. So the same thing, I can change this to minus and it works. I can do this for multiplication and it works as well. So this is 60. I can do this for division and it works as well, 0.6. Okay, so next we are now going to go to comparison operators. So if we remember this, these are our less than from primary school that we know. This greater than, just like we know it. So we also have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. So comparison operators are simply operators we use to compare values. So if I have, are we there? Seems like I'm out.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Okay. So comparison operators are operators that are used to compare values. So we have the less than. So the less than here is, as you know it checks whether something is less than the other. And then we have less than or equal to. So in mathematics, we have less than or equal to as this symbol. In Python, we use the less than and put an equal to. Then we have greater than or equal to, and not equal to. So a comparison operator compares two values and returns a Boolean. That is, it returns either true or false. Please, if we don't understand anything, we can ask. Okay, so now, supposing I have my value A as 10 and B as 15. Now I want to compare these two values. I run this. I want to check. So when I use my comparison operator, is a way of saying is dash, maybe A dash dash B. It could be is A, so it's like asking a question, right? Okay, so here, let's start with the less than. I can put A less than B and then run this cell. So it's just asking, is A less than or B? So we usually say yes or no. So the computer says yes as true. So we'll say A is less than B, which is true. We can also change this to say, is A greater than B, and run the cell, and which is what? Which is false. A is greater than B. A is not greater than B. Now, we can also check whether it's less than or equal to. Remember that for less than or equal to, we are saying either of these actually goes, whether it's less than, whether it's equal to, it works. And when we run this, it says true. So, and all like that. But I want to lay particular emphasis on equal to. So if I put a single equal to is an assignment operator, not a comparison operator. That's what we did first here, assignment operator. So it's the equal to that is the assignment operator. Now, for the comparison operator, we have to use double equal to. If not, we are assigning B to A. That is, if I say A equal to B, let's say I'm printing, if I print A, and then print B, please, if you don't understand, kindly stop me. And I run this. So you see what happened. Remember that B is 15. So what it did was that it assigned B as 15 to A. So rather, if we want to check whether A is less than B, whether A is equal to B as a form of comparison, we have to put double equal to. So I'll keep this and run this cell, or run this one. A is less equal to B, says false, because A and B are not the same. So if I come here and then I want to run this to A and B, we see that A and B as before, that A is 10 and B is 15. Do we understand?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yes, I do.
Okay. That's great. So I think that's that for, and then not equal to. So the way Python writes not equal to is to put an exclamation and put the letter. So A not equal to B, and then it returns a true because A is not equal to B. So next we go to this string. Now going to string, you say, what if I print the value? Do I assign the comparison? I'm not sure I really understand your question. Now, where was the example I gave? So if I say A equal, I can say print A. I don't know what you really mean. Can you unmute yourself and ask? Maybe that will make it clearer. But this will still print as false because A is not equal to B. Are you in a position to unmute?
Right. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so my question is like there's so what if I want to print the value, which I think you just actually answered? Does it mean I have to assign? Okay, this is a comparison, right?
Yes.
So like in the previous sorry, right. In the previous this thing that you just talked about, the assignment this thing. So you have to assign give a value to assign a value, right? And then you'll be able to print that value. So I was asking if it's possible for us to give like a print command so that you can print the output of the comparison. For example, like false or true, which you just actually answered. So thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So yes, you can actually print. It's just that when you do this, it returns a value. So that's why I've not been putting print. But whether you put print or not, it returns whether it's true or false. So always remember that a comparison operator compares two values and it returns either true or false. Okay, so we can now go to for string. So we have here, remember that for string that you put it between quotations. So here I'm asking whether this equal to this apple is equal to this apple. So it returns false. Why does it return false? It returns false because it's Python is case sensitive. So this one starts with a capital A, while this one is a small a. So it can't be equal. So if I want to make both of them equal, there's a method called dot lower. So what dot lower does is that it takes a string and then makes it lower. So if I have, for example, apple, AP, capital P, another capital P. Now I want to make everything lower. I'll just put dot lower. And when I run this will then give me apple in lowercase. So now where I printed apple equal to apple. So since it false, but I want to make it true, I can just simply say dot lower and then run this cell. So what it does is that it returns true because apple dot lower is actually this apple, small apple, all the letters in apple in uppercase. Then we then have this one where we have, so if I say A, B, are they less than apples? So it returns true. Can anyone guess why or know why this returns true, that are they is less than apples? Anybody, you can type in the chat. Okay, what do you mean by the string value? Can you explain further? So if I put apples first and put Adi, this should be what? false. So is it possible for you to explain further? So let me just, because of time. Now, it is because it looks at the letters. Okay, someone wants to talk.
All
Okay.
right, the reason why I said it's because the string value, meaning that the characters in an apple is more than the characters in ID. So it took the
Okay.
value.
Okay, so let me add more characters here and run the cell. So it's still false. Why is it false? Even though the characters here are more. Okay. So thank you for your answer. Now, what this less than does is that it arranges in a sort of alphabetical order. So it looks at the first character in apple is A and the second character in apple is A. So A is 1 in A to Z if you are counting A to Z. Then it looks at P, which is maybe number 20 or so, and D, which is number 4. And so 20 is not less than 4. So what it's just trying to do is to arrange in alphabetical order. So let me use something smaller. So A is less than B. Now for A is number 1 in the alphabet. So this is just saying 1 is less than 2. That's it. So if I have even AB, always this will be AB is less than. So it's just sort of arranging in alphabetical order. So if I have B, or let's say C now, CAB less than B, it returns false because the first letter here is number 3 in the alphabet, while this one is number 2, and 3 is not less than 2. I hope you understand that. Okay. So we'll move quickly to controls. So controls are simply used for, or control structures, they are simply used for decision making. So I want to make a decision based on some things. I can say, and I can call an if statement, and I put an expression here. If this expression is true, then it should do something, else it should do another thing. Now, it's important to note that you can write an if statement without an else expression. So it only executes if the if block is true. And then if you don't tell it anything else to do, it will just be like that. It will do nothing. So for example, in class, you have probably a test and they say the pass mark is 20. So it's 20. So they are now saying that if a student does not score up to 20, then that student has failed. So if I say Bola scored 50 or Bola scored 19, now I want to know whether Bola will pass or fail. So we can use an if conditional to do this. So I'll say if let's say, for example, we have a variable or we are accepting an input and say the mark or student's mark is equal to, we are taking it as an input. So what this input does is that it allows a user to put in a value, right? And then I'll now say if student's mark, so if a student has entered a mark and it is less than the pass mark. Okay, someone wants to say something. Okay, I'll go ahead. So if the student's mark is less than the pass mark, what should it be? We can say that we should print. So if the student's mark is less than the pass mark, we can say, sorry, you have failed. Right? So this is my if block. So if the students, I'm not using this now, so let me remove it. So if the student's mark is less than the pass mark, let's say, sorry, you have failed, else you print, congratulations, you have passed. So do we understand this block? Let me run this cell first. So I run this because of this input. That's why I have this sort of, what's this thing called? I have sort of this space to enter a value. So maybe I enter that this value, this person has 19. So what does it say? Okay, now we're saying type this not supported between string and int. So what I need to do is that I'll have to add the type of student's mark. So I have to say int student's mark. So I'm ensuring that this thing is an integer, because if I do not put any type, it takes that value as string. So I run this cell again and I'll say 19 and I put enter. So it says, sorry, you have failed. So this was my if statement. I was saying that if the student scores less than the pass mark, you should print that the student has failed. Else, you should print that the student has passed. So let's see if, let's put 21 and say enter. Now, so this person has gotten more than the pass mark. So we say congratulations, he has passed. So what if the student has gotten 20 and we say enter? The student has also passed. So anybody with a question? Do we understand? Okay, so I should take it that everybody understands. Okay, someone has a question. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. Now, we've not done functions before. Okay, we've not done functions. Let's do if else, and then I think we have enough time to go to doing functions. So you see this last expression we did, we just put an if and an else. So sometimes things are not just two-way. If I do if and else, it just means if it's not this one, then it's the other one. But what if I have an intermediate decision to be made? So that's when we use the if, elif, else. And elif could be as many as possible. And then else means after it has tried the if, it has tried all elif. If it doesn't work, then we'll then use the else. So now this one is looking at the pass mark, or rather grading system in school. So we know that we have first class. Okay. Someone wants to say something. Yeah. Yakubu. Yakubu, you want to say something? Hmm? I'm not hearing you. Okay, so should I go ahead? Okay, so I'll go ahead. Now we are going to, so in school, we know that the first class is 4.5 and above, so greater than 4, greater than or greater than or equal to 4.5. Then we know that second class is what's second class now? Second class is greater than or equal to 3.5, but less than 4.5. Then we have third class. So in this situation, I think third class is greater than or equal to 2.5, but less than 3.5. And then fail is less than 2.5. So anybody that scores less than 2.5 has a fail. So if we are giving all of this information and then we want to write a program that will tell us whether someone, what the person has gotten. So let's say that we have a variable called grade and say, maybe this time around I'm assigning, I'm not putting an input. I'm saying it is 3.72. I want to create a function that will tell me what this person's grade is. So I'll say if grade is greater than or equal to 4.5, then print you have a first class. So now what do you notice? In this one we have, so whenever you have more than two possibilities or that are not strictly yes or no, you use the elif. So I'll now say elif, again grade. So now grade is between 3.5 and 4.5. So I say elif grade is greater than or equal to 3.5, or, so there's an or grade is less than 4.5. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. I'll say print you have a second class. So we then have another option. I'll say elif grade. The next one is grade is greater than or equal to 2.5, or grade is less than 3.5. Print. So I'm just busy writing the same thing over and over again. I should have been copying and pasting. Print you have a third class. So since anybody that do not have this one from 2.5, I can actually put elif less than 2.5 fail. But a better way to do is you say else print failed. So this person here in this category that his grade is 3.72, we expect that we would have that this person is second class. So when I run this, so it has printed that the person has a second class. So do we understand, or we need more explanation? Is it clear? So this is also another way to do it. You know, when you have an if-else block, if the first one does not work, it will automatically go to the second one. So in this one, what I did here was that I put the upper and lower bounds. But here, only the upper bounds were just put, and then it also works the same way. So let's say norm is 3.72. And then I run the cell. So it says second class, because what I did was I just consider the upper one. So if it comes here and says that it is not greater than or equal to 3.5. We will go to the next one. It checks it is not greater than or equal to 2.5. So it just, goes line by line. So it reads code from top to bottom. I think that's it for that. We still have some few minutes to spend. So what we have here is for loops. So when we talk about for loops is simply like a way of iterating. So I'm just giving us the bare minimum needed for us to go into data science proper, because I want us to start data science proper next week. So when we are doing for loops, we use the for statement to sort of write a for loop, right? So so here we have what we call this range. Let me see. I think range is a keyword. Range 3. I'm not sure. So what this range does is that it starts from the number if I don't put a number, it starts from 0 and goes up to the number here -1. So if I say for I in range 5, so print I. Now what it does is that it sort of assigns I to values in the range of 5. So you can look at it as start from 0, stop at this number -1, right? So it prints 0 first, next it prints 1, prints 2. So if you want to see exactly what it's doing, you can say print I have passed, and then run this. So it sort of prints I, goes back again, I is now 2, goes back again, and so on, up to 4. So stop here at -1, and there is a step, so we can put a step of 2, 2. So it moves 2, 2. So you see it's printed 0, then printed 2, then printed 4. So start, stop, step. Do we understand?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. Now, like we learned about lists the last time, so we can iterate through a list. So these are values in a list, and then we want to iterate through it. So, should I say in software engineering or good programming practice? It's not, most times when people are programming, they are always, and they want to do a for loop, they always say for print I. Now, it's not a good practice. It's good to name your things the way they are. So here I have a list of fruits. So my fruits are apple, banana, blah. And I'm now saying, okay, I iterate through this list and print out the values that are there. So for each one, this one is a fruit. So I'll say for fruits in fruits, print fruits. That's all. And so whether you put I or not, it will still print, but I'm just like good programming practice. So this is also a for loop that has a conditioner in it. And it's saying that if I go through 0 to 6, if I is 3 or I is 6, it should print pass, else it should print fail. So I think that's what we have for loop. It could be more complicated. Like I said, I'm just giving the very, very bare minimal. So lastly, we'll go to functions before we end the class. So functions are a way of I think I have some functions here. Functions are a way of keeping our codes clean and sort of avoiding repetition. So if I know that there's a particular thing I'll be doing over and over again, I don't need to be writing it over and over again. I could just create a function that will achieve what I want to achieve. So we start a function by using the def keyword. So let me put functions here. So to start a function, we use def to start a function, and then we'll write the name of the function. So maybe the name of my function is some function, and then we put this. So let me explain, and I'm putting pass. So this def signifies the start of a function. Some function signifies the name of the function, and here I'm supposed to put an argument. So if the function can be executed without any arguments, then I can leave it like that. Else I must have to put a value here to signify that, okay, you must ask for something. Now let's go to this function that we had written before, this stuff we had written before. So maybe we want to write this as a function and we want to use it in school to write a program that would grade students. So I write this. Now, remember that you have to indent when you have something of this nature. In fact, when you start writing it, indents automatically for you if you are using an editor like Colab. So now I'm saying that print if num, it was just the function the codes we wrote before that I'm bringing back here. So if we want to write a function, sometimes it might be complicated. So it's good to write it in what I call a crude way, that is writing everything out, and then later bringing it back to put it in the function. Now you then think about it. What are the arguments you use? So here we have num and pass mark. So it means that this function cannot be run except we have num and pass mark, right? So I can bring num, I can put it here in this place and put pass mark here. Yeah, so I've been using arguments and now, so this is my num, this is my pass mark. So it means that for this function to be called, these two things have to be defined. So I can run my function. Now I want to call this function some function. Now I will then put a number. Let me say my number is 4 and a pass mark. Let me say my pass mark is 15. So this first 4 stands for this number and this 15 stands for pass mark. So when I run this, it says fail. Why? Because my number, that is 4, is less than the pass mark. So in this function, what I just did is to print. Usually, or in a function, you can return. Return means you give a value back. In this print, it's just to display. But when you return a function, return something from a function, then you probably want to use that result from that function to do something else. So for print is just a display. So maybe we want to write a function that will calculate someone's salary. So let's say someone wants to say something. Yes, I'm listening. Yakusat, okay. So maybe we are asked to write a function to calculate the take-home salary of an individual. If his benefits is 20%. So I'm always confused. Gross salary is salary that nothing has been removed, right? Net. This word usually confuses me. Okay, so we are asked to write a function that will calculate the take-home salary of an individual if his benefit is 20% of his net salary. So what this means is that the person has his net salary. Sorry, okay, let me check the difference between net and gross. I always forget difference. Right. So the difference between.
Right, you got it right.
Okay, I got it right. Okay, thank you.
Gross is before
Okay.
deduction, while net is after deduction.
Okay, net is after deduction. Thank you. So I can now define. So when we are naming our function, we have to use descriptive names. So to talk about what we are doing. So let's say that the name of this function is take-home salary. Now, they said that this function will calculate his take-home salary if his benefit is 20% of his net salary. So it means that for us to use this function, what we require from this person is only his salary, right? Or let's put it the right way, his net salary or her net salary, because the benefit is fixed, is 20%. So if we want to calculate the benefits, so it simply means it's 20%. And how do we write 20%? Is 0.2 of net salary. So 0.2 times net salary. So that means the take home, or let's say the total salary, is then equal to this person's net salary plus the benefits. Now, so we need to return a value here. We need to tell the person what his take-home salary will be. So in this case, we'll use the return and we'll say we are returning total salary. So this is our function. Now, you see, I had to think. I say, okay, what do we need from this person? We need this person's net salary. And then since the benefit is fixed, we just need to insert it in our function. And it's just 0.2 times this. So when you run this cell, now since we have said return total salary, it means that this function will return one value. Someone wants to say something. Okay, so it means that this function will return one value, which is take home salary. So I can say take home salary is equal to, I'll then call this take home here, Control C, which is the name of the function. And then I'll put the net salary. So say this person's net salary is 1,000. So I can print the person's take home salary or total salary. So, which is so this person's salary is now 1,200. I don't know, is it clear? Do we understand? Is it clear?
Yes, it is clear from my end. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so I
You
think
froze out for you froze out for a bit.
yeah, I'm sorry. I was attending to someone. So I think,
Oh.
yeah. So I think I've done what I want to do or what I set out to do today. So if there is no question, we can end the class for tonight. Abubakar Abdulrahman, Yakubu Abdulrahim, and Yakustat. Is it clear? It's okay. Okay, Yakubu wants to say something. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, my question is this. I want you to give us a basic explanation of function and method. Like the basic explanation of function and method. When are you to use function and when are you to use method?
Okay. Function and method. When you talk about method, what type of method are you talking about?
This function is actually giving it a function so that you can call it whenever you need it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the definition of a method is still the same thing.
I can't really say, but I think they are used almost the same way. It depends on your it depends on what you want to do, but I'll check up the right definition and maybe post it on the group. But we can,
Okay.
I don't know. Or I've forgotten. I'll check it up and post it in the group.
It's all right.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. We have exceeded 1 hour. I don't like to, I like to keep to time. Okay, so I'll stop sharing. And thank you all for attending. I'll end the class now. Please, let's practice.
Thanks for your time. We really appreciate you and do have a wonderful night rest.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, bye.